Hi, it's Deborah Lee. I'm back. I went missing for a couple of weeks because I put up a 3-minute video about my phone not being able to hold videos, so I had to get a new phone, which was very disappointing because I just started doing my story, and I recorded 4 videos and I was so excited, and when I went to put them up they didn't work, so I had to get a new phone. So we're back to chapter 1, and we were partly into where Rose was thinking about going to the dance, and her mother, Iris, was wanting to know what was going on. So I'll start again. Thank you for being here and listening. So Rose could hear her mother calling and realise she had been distracted by thoughts of her mum's past. "Rose, Rose," her mum was now yelling. As she got up from the back step to open the flywire door, her little terrier, in her excitement and eagerness for breakfast, almost tripped her up. Flowing out of her earlier thoughts, Rose felt an overwhelming feeling of compassion for her mother and wrapped her arms around the woman she loved and adored. She felt all cozy as her mum was wearing her blue and pink Chanel dressing gown, which was warm, soft and fluffy. She then went to the fridge to get the leftovers from the night before, grabbed the chopping board and began reducing the leftover lamb stew and veggies into small pieces for Amber. Meanwhile, her puppy, always the life of the party, made them laugh as she ran around in circles of excitement at their feet. Iris was making her morning coffee in a beautiful rose-painted cup, which was standing on a matching saucer. Iris was very regal with her coffee, using only the best cups and saucers. As she said, they made it taste better. It's true. She collected antiques and had many beautiful sets. She liked her coffee very strong with 3 sugars and said it kept her going all day long. She sat down at the kitchen table, lit up her first cigarette of the day, and drew the smoke back deeply into her lungs, as if to pull strength from the nicotine. Just lost my spot. Sorry. She was such a heavy smoker that people often called her Smokey. Looking at Rose, she inquired, "What are you up to?" "I'm your mother, and I can smell a rat." "Oh dear. Who is the rat, and what is his name?" She laughed with a husky smoker's voice, the tone of which sounded more sexy and scary. Rose knew her mother thought she had another man. That wasn't so, but she was still looking for the one in her heart. So in that sense, her mum was right. Meeting her eyes, Rose huffed, "I just want to have some fun without stuffy old Edward." Sighing, Iris pulled in her chair and warned, "That's not a good sign, Rose." "What are you doing? Going dancing without Edward? You're not even married yet." Iris had known that feeling of true love and real passion, and although her husband Jack was a truly wonderful man, faithful, loyal and a hard-working provider, she never felt the same love for him that she had experienced with Jerome. Despite knowing that Jack loved her very much and treated her with great respect. From when he had first met her, he had loved her and her young son as if he was his own blood, flesh and blood. He had taken him close to his side and into his heart and had never rejected him. He had felt blessed to have them both, and it had given him a reason to live. And Iris had found a safe place in which to raise her child. When she had questioned Rose's motive, she had been speaking with the wisdom gained from her own experience. She knew Rose was up to something, and that it's about trouble with a capital T. Mum, it's just a little fun with Beverly, and who knows, Bev might meet her husband tonight, and I'll be with her. Rose was trying to talk more about her sister in order to draw her mother's attention away from herself. However, Iris was being her usual wise self, since she knew all the tricks of the book. Right, Rose had been there, done that. Just move my water, sorry. Iris continued, Rose, don't you know we've had enough heartache and trouble in this family? If Edward finds out you're out and about without him, the marriage could be called off in a flash. This is a small suburb. We don't want the neighbours or others talking about our family, and we certainly don't need any more shame put upon us and our reputation. I had to learn the hard way. Falling pregnant and having a child out of wedlock brought a lot of pain and shame, and I don't want you going through the same thing. It also doesn't help that we live in this small 2-bedroom house and that your brother has gone a little mad. Daniel was very handsome, just like his dad, but was unwell in his mind. He lived in a room he'd made for himself in the roof space of the house, with a ladder providing the only way access. He disliked the fact that he couldn't find his father, always asking where he was and when he would be coming back, making life uncomfortable for the entire family. Believing himself abandoned by his dad, he was consumed by feelings of unforgiveness towards him. Like his mother, terror also lingered behind his eyes, having entered through the brokenness and rejection they both felt. Frequently at night, he would torment Rose. He'd climb down the ladder, go into the girl's room with a stocking over his head, take one of Beverly's scarves and tie it around Rose's neck and face as if to smother her. It's pretty scary. He would hold it tightly to her face until her face was all distorted, pulling hard and telling her he was going to kill her if she made a noise. She never did scream or make a sound. Their mother felt unfair sympathy for her son, and Rose, being the younger of the two girls, was the easier prey. He never touched Beverly. Daniel was jealous of the girls, especially Rose, as she was very close to their mother. He had had Iris to himself for several years before Jack and the girls had come along, so he felt he had a special bond with her. As a result, he was very possessive and would buy her presents every week. Great presents like antiques. He would also go into graveyards and steal angels and beautiful crosses from the graves for his mother's garden or the sunroom or wherever she wanted them to go. As Iris loved collectibles, she adored those presents. Though she never realised they were stolen, she just thought they were second-hand. One hot, humid Melbourne summer day, Daniel had taken Rose to the local pool. She had been so excited to be holding her brother's hand, thinking he had changed and was caring for her. Because of the heat, she had wanted to wade in the small, shallow children's pool, but instead he had taken her hand. that had begun to tremble and pulled her towards the large pool, declaring, "I'll take you for a swim." Rose had pleaded with him, "Daniel, I can't swim." He already knew that, as she was only 5 years old. Swimming her out to the middle of the pool, he looked into her beautiful blue eyes, just like her mother's, and said, "Goodbye, little rose petal." Then, in a teasing and mocking tone, he had chanted, "Roses, roses, sink in the water. No mummy to save you." Laughing, and with that terrorizing look in his eyes, he had swum away and left her there to drown. She could hear him laughing and laughing as her lungs were filling with water, and she began to sink down to the bottom of the pool. Fortunately, she had been saved, but from that day, Rose hated deep water and would never go in water again. She never even wanted to learn how to swim, and that fear was to remain with her. Daniel had become a real terror in her life. When Rose got home, shaking and very white from the lack of oxygen to her lungs, she'd run to her mother for comfort and told her about his behaviour and how he had betrayed her trust. Iris had lit up a fag and explained, "Oh, no," with terror in her eyes as she made her coffee, 3 sugar cubes, plunk, 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 black and very strong, and then had swallowed some white pills as she couldn't handle the strife in her life. If only it would all go away. If only his father could come back and say, "Sorry, I love you, Daniel, and help us, but all this rejection is too much to bear." Breaking out of her thought, she had responded, "Rose, your brother has an excuse for his bad behaviour." Oh no. Bad parenting. "Daniel has never met his father." Oh dear. "Because he never returned from the war and probably is dead. So leave him be." Imagine saying that to a 5-year-old. Imagine the trauma for the 5-year-old. Her latter comment was shouted in an effect to expel all the built-up pain and damage from her body. So once Iris would have yelled, everybody would have scattered. Daniel had then stuck his tight, bitter tongue out at Rose while looking at her with rage and murder in his eyes. He had wanted her dead and had thought the swimming incident would have been a good way to eliminate her from his life. He had then climbed up the ladder through the manhole into the roof cavity and hadn't come down for days. And on those nights, he never tormented her. Rose always wondered how he went to the toilet, discovering later that he would collect his urine in glass milk bottles. He had also gone without food, as he liked to punish himself, as well as others in his family. As a result, the heavy oppression could be felt throughout the house. Jack never said anything, nor did he touch him in order to discipline him, as Iris would have killed him, so to speak. She protected Daniel in a strange way. The girls got smacked and punished, but Daniel just hid in the ceiling. His very presence was a constant reminder of Iris's shame. But mother and son knew it and felt there was no forgiveness for their past pain. The whole neighbourhood knew she had been made pregnant by that French stranger who had come to their town and then left to go to return to his own country, but had never come back to marry her. What torment they felt. Those red high heels had brought her much love, but also much shame, which had then torn them apart. Rose thought to herself, dear mother, what she's been through. Rose, Rose, roses. Iris's voice brought her out of her thoughts. Stop daydreaming. This night out with your sister had better not bring the family any more shame. Keep your eyes on Edward and not on any tall, handsome stranger. So what I want to say there is that when Iris met Jerome, the French man, it was all so beautiful. It was like the perfect, romance. But then life changed and something did happen to that man. And I honestly believe that man did die in the war. But what it left was a beautiful young woman who gave birth to a little boy. And there was just so much trauma for Iris and then for her son. And her son had gone mad from all the wounds and all the, he was like an orphan, and they call it the orphan spirit. And not that Iris or Daniel knew this back then, but that's what had happened. And he felt like an orphan. He felt very unloved, felt betrayed. So he went and lived in the roof space. And those wounds that he had gave him many demons, and he did plan to kill Rose that day. He wanted to actually drown her. And that's like so heavy. Imagine wanting to kill your little sister. Like, she was the baby in the family. That was my mother. And her big brother wanted to kill her, wanted to drown her. And that's when I share about demons. There was a demon in Daniel that said, kill your little sister, kill her, drown her. And when he didn't succeed, he went home and he went back up into his roof space. And there's so many families to this day everywhere that do these really demonic things, and it's all from the enemy, not from God. And that's why I keep saying, as I read each chapter of this book, I've just finished chapter 1 and I'll be going into chapter 2 soon. Chapter 1 is already full of, there was a lot of love, and then there was a lot of trauma and a lot of wounds and a lot of demons that came into my family. And I think that's why I've got such a calling on my life to share this story and keep going chapter by chapter and sharing how demons do come. And the Bible talks about demons. Jesus, as I've shared already, one of Jesus' most important things was to get people delivered from demons. And if you read the Bible, if you start in Matthew, you will see each chapter how Jesus shares about the demons and the wounds in people, and how he comes to heal people. And so I'll probably stop there. I only really want these videos to go for about 20 minutes because that's good time for someone to listen. And I will see you soon back with chapter 2. Chapter 2 is Rose's true love, where Rose meets maybe her true love. Okay, thank you. God bless. See you in the next chapter.